History beckons. Steve McClaren and the Reggae Boys are a whisper away from their first FIFA Men's World Cup since 1998. With two more games remaining, will they punch a ticket on November 18th against Curacao in Kingston, Jamaica? Or will it be a crushing case of history repeating itself? But before we get to the meat of the matter, let's segue, stick a pin in it, a matter of fact, and talk about that deja vu 4-0 victory over Bermuda. Joining the live stream is the CEO of Ball Pre TV, Mr. King. How are you?
I'm there, Crystal. Wagwan, Talawa TV, wagwan, people out there. Big up on yourself, people as an enter and do the right thing and hit that like button, smash up the like.
For this camp, we heard of an alleged training ground bust up, right, between the vice captain Damien Lowe and also Mason Holgate, and the fact that those two lads there sat on the bench for those two pivotal World Cup qualifiers, especially one which we lost 2-0 against Curacao on their home soil. What do you make of the fact that both of those guys there saw no game time? Because to me, that's a step in the right direction. It does hold water, even though no one from the Jamaica Football Federation have come out and confirmed the alleged training ground bust up. But I think the fact that those two lads they saw 0 minutes and they hold the bench, I think it does hold water that this is some form of a disciplinary action. And if that is the case, what do you make of what the gaffer did?
Alright, so yeah, we hear that the rumors as about the bus stop, right? Not as I said, nothing was made public, which we understand. But then the mere fact that both of them get 0 minutes over the two legs. Now, the second leg, I can understand why both of them got 0 minutes because again, I would think that the coach would not want to chop and change the centre half pairing that he chose for the first game against Curacao. So I understood why he would try to keep the um the centre half pairing together, right? However, the first game, all of us were very surprised to say that that game against Curacao was missing especially Damian Nanalo for his leadership, for his front footness and all of that. So one, yeah, you can look at it as to say that probably it was a discipline action where both of them got benched right throughout the two games. And you can also look at it that once they started against Curacao, again, the coach didn't want to break up that continuity against for the second game because he wants to keep with that level of cohesion and building up that on that, which I also spoke about because what I didn't like initially was the fact that he broke up the center of pairing initially from the last round of games because I would think that he would have gone with that. No, one of the things I was thinking is that big name players came back and he just had to play them. So Pinnock came back and he had to play Pinnock because we all know Pinnock is class. So once you have a Pinnock in the team, you're gonna be forced to start Pinnock. Only a few coaches is gonna have a Ethan Pinnock in their national team and have a Ethan Pinnock on the bench. And so hold on, Ethan Pinnock. I started my two centre off the last round when you were injured, and I'm gonna go again with them. So he didn't do that. He put back Ethan Pinnock because again, and he spoke about it in the press conference to say that these are some players that him trust. Him say him have some players where basically him foot soldiers, some players that he can depend on. So bring back Ethan Pinnock and pairing him with Richard King again. We also scrutinize that to say that the center half pairing are a bit similar. But again, we don't know why him choose to do that. He can speculate to say that him probably do that because he didn't go for Nanalo because of a discipline action. Again, that's only speculation. But what I don't even want to come on to the second game that much, but putting the foot down, I think the putting the foot down aspect of it really showed in the second game when you come around to the second game.
Before we get on to the second game, I do want to give you credit where credit's due because you asked you've been smashing it in these press conferences, and you asked such a wonderful question the other day, paraphrasing. I think you know where I'm going with this one. It was about the question there about the number 9. I absolutely love that question. I didn't expect the reaction from the gaffer in terms of his
Yeah.
response. But yeah, credits to you, man. You're growing and you're doing some wonderful stuff in these press conferences and also with your interviews as well. So keep on shining. But The number nine situation, I am absolutely delighted with how Boza responded, because if he caught wind of the gaffer's response there, I would like to think that it wasn't intentional from Steve McClaren because he didn't shine no lights on Shamar Nicholson, did he? In terms of talking about the number nine, he even mentioned a player, his foot soldier, who is clubless for the time being. And he spoke about other attackers like your Damari Gray, your boy Leon Bailey, Kaheem Dixon, Warner Brown, also Ronaldo Cephas, but he didn't mention Boza. But I do like the way that Shamar reacted. That's a professional response there from Shamar Nicholson, and I have to tip my hat off to him because that's exactly the type of response that you want. I had him down for a brace, but I'm not going to complain about him. What's your thoughts there on how Shamar Nicholson responded? I mean, to me, he isn't given the credit that he deserves because so far in this year's World Cup cycle, he's now netted 5 goals. What's your thoughts on Boza?
So before I go into Boza and the thoughts on that, as you said, when I asked the coach about the expected goals, right? Again, when the coach went into the strikers, I think he deliberately leave out Boza because he mentioned everybody except Boza. So even people were saying that, well, and the coach figured so we have a striker named Boza, why I'm call everybody name. And then the very next match to see him start Boza, it seemed like a bit of mind game by the coach to like basically hide him and make everybody forget about Boza. And yeah, but to be honest, I'm always one that says then when Shamar Nicholson, not only Shamar Nicholson, you have a few players. When them put on this black, gold, and green jersey, I think them transform. Like Superman when time is Clark Kent regularly, and then them put on him cape, him turn Superman. I think some
Yeah.
players, when them put on a black, gold, and green, them transform. Very
Mm.
transform, and you can't bet against them. Bet against them at your own peril. That's something to think about. And I'm thinking about players from the past, like Darren Mattocks. Darren Mattocks, when he
Oh
put on
my.
this,
Yes.
is a different footballer. And not that he is different because in plays, so I guess everywhere there, but you can depend on him like 1, 2, 3. You get me? I say you can
Oh
depend
my.
on
Yeah.
them like 1, 2, 3. So I
Listen,
think
you nostalgia. I like that. I like that. Giles Barnes as well, and
yeah, some
I
players,
mean
man,
Winfred Schaefer. I love that.
when you put on that jersey, so like Shelton them. So the thing is with Boza, I know that when Boza goes out there, Boza and to be honest, this was Boza linking up play. This was like a different type of Boza. And yes, a lot of people are gonna talk about the level that we played to the level of the opposition. But again, we've seen us playing against lower level oppositions and we play down to them levels. So this was we call it a professional display, especially from
Mhm.
Boza, linking play, putting in work, getting on the score sheet as well. Um, it was just an all-round good display from Boza. And again, we're gonna talk about some things where I think would have aided Boza's game, but on Boza, I expect that from Shamar Nicholson when he put on this black, gold, and green jersey. I remember a lot of people saying that Boza wasn't even deserving to be in the squad. I remember people say, but Boza not at club level to be in the squad, and this is what we have to recognize. You have some baller where the coach is foot soldier. I know. I have only coached at minor league level. When I'm talking about, I think we coach were under 9, baby level. I mean, I tell you, you have some players, and my foot soldier them. No matter what, parents have to go vex with me. Just imagine coaching adults and having some players where you can depend on, and that's just it. I'm just thinking so the coach have some players where him can depend on, and so long as those players are playing the requisite minute, and sometimes him just want most of them fit, and that's just the coach's playing style. But again, the coach would have learned a lot of lessons from the first game, and he would have, I guess he would assist some things that he would have implemented in the second game. But Bowser, people that count out Bowser, people that say, yo, not for they not deserve for that, but that is Bowser for you. Never count out Bowser at your peril. That means it.
I think Boss is a bit like Marmite, because people you either like him or you don't. And I think one thing about our fan base, no matter what you do, once they make their mind up that they don't like you, you could score the winning goal that takes us back to the World Cup for the first time since '98. And I just kind of feel like it'd be like, yeah, that's your job. You're supposed to do that. So we're very determined when we decide that we don't like a person, and we just kind of keep it moving in that regard. Steve Powell, massive thank you there for your super chat. Big up yourself. Definitely putting that in my back pocket. Can probably buy myself a little cup of tea when I'm on the road at some points. But yeah, he's got a bit of a flair to him, and I saw little glimpses of that in the game the other night against can't remember their name. What is their name again?
Curacao or
Bermuda.
Bermuda? Which one? Bermuda?
Bermuda, the guys they're in their pink kit. I like their pink kit. But you were at the stadium, so you probably saw this from a different perspective. What was the vibe like inside the stadium in Kingston?
All right, so the stadium one was not full. I don't
Mm.
know if I was surprised about that. I think it was like 50% full. I think they announced that it was 16,000 people, which is a decent amount of people. And as usual, the first thing first is that the people came on Jamaican time. And we know what Caribbean time is and Jamaican time is. We don't know when we're going to change that. The last game I see it scheduled
Work
for.
day as well, though. Remember, bro, it was a work day as well, so maybe they're coming in late, from work and school.
Yeah, that's true. But may I tell you, that's something we do. We do it really justly. I know this to Krista. We don't have to go around the thing. We do it really justly. But the vibe in the stadium eventually when people them load up the stadium, and it was nice.
Yeah,
It's, again, me did spend most of the time over grandstand, and you know that that's not where the vibe is. The vibe the over bleachers. So
beaches,
that's the one thing I'm doing wrong. But
different class,
yeah,
different party,
different gravy over bleachers, man. All that vibe
different.
over bleachers. Grandstand, you have to build your own vibe, and some vibes they do over there, but not as much. But yeah, traffic on a work day. So yeah, the vibe in the stadium as usual. Jamaican people, once we get in it, once we start, have to sip. Once the bar game start roll, after the first 15 minutes too, and the man them getting out the bar game, fed into the crowd because I can tell you the first 15 minutes I think some nerves they start kicking. To be honest,
Mm.
I think the crowd that get restless for the first about until the first goal score. And I think before the first goal score, when we start and put this ball down and knock it. So yeah, but once the crowd get in it, once we get going, I tell you, it was a joy. It was a game that I really enjoyed.
We little, but we Talawa.